complete is 8. I've also seen choose 8, break their 8. 8 is excellence. Don't break it. And number 1, they say it's still possible amongst others. But really, 11 of these candidates won't get to give us their slogans because they've been disqualified. And they say it's unfair in terms of the process because they weren't giving a fair hearing. Like I said, I'll give Dr. Bosman Asare the final word on all this because of all the submissions that have come up. What for you should change?
I think, first of all, I mean, I think sometimes we have to acknowledge that, you know, in these processes, there are always disagreements, and it's part of the process. And when those disagreements, there are a resolution to it, then it's good. And the fact that everybody is happy, it happened yesterday, today everybody is happy, we move forward. And that's a very important part of this process. And as we come and talk about other issues, it is a principle that we have to recognize. So for me, that is a very important development, that after all the disagreements, everybody's happy and we can move on. We take lessons from it. Because we've done balloting in the past. Some didn't have these controversies. Some may have the controversies, but there's a resolution and we move forward. There's an issue that keeps coming up about how we handle smaller parties, how we handle independent candidates. I think there has to be a bigger discussion about that. There has to be a bigger discussion about how IPAC evolves and so on to sort of fulfill its role as it was anticipated at the beginning. In terms of the nomination process, there's always a small window that is provided in CI 127 within the nomination period for corrections to be made. Yeah. Now, the challenge has always been that if you don't submit in time or early, then really the window for corrections disappears. And I've always struggled with the way the law is set, because it says, okay, you are supposed to present within a certain time, which means that you are allowed to bring it up to the 13th or whenever the Electoral Commission says you're supposed to bring it. Yeah. But at the same time, it also says if you bring it and there are corrections, you'll be allowed to address it. But if you bring it in the 12th hour, you don't have an opportunity to address it. So how do you reconcile that? And we've not managed to reconcile that. And I think most people get caught in that kind of phase. So I'm sure, I don't know the infractions that some of these 11 people, for the basis on which the Electoral Commission has basically disqualified them. But that is where you get the problem. And some of the court cases we found in the past has always been around those things, where it might be some mistakes, but it's just not time for it to be resolved. And maybe Dr. Bosman can tell us more about that. So we have to address some of that. Some of the others that would border on criminality or some other issues that cannot be resolved, those are other matters that are beyond correction and have to be resolved maybe at the court of law or so on. But it doesn't help the EC timetable. Yes. If these matters are litigated, how quickly are they going to be resolved, so that if it comes, balloting has already been done, you have to start worrying about printing the ballot papers, completing the voter register, all of that. So it's not helpful when people are disqualified and threatened. So it adds too much problem to the Electoral Commission, and the quicker we resolve it, and I'm hoping that if these matters are going to go to court, that the judiciary is also primed to deal with it as quickly as possible so that we can have a resolution, and then whatever implication it has for electoral processes, it's resolved, and then we don't get into complications for our elections. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dr. Bosman Asare, a number of questions have come